All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the District 18 Club sponsored training. My name is Wesley Gibbs. I am the District 18 Club Growth Director. And here today to present this training is no other than our current Club Extension Chair and former District Director for District 18. Please help me welcome Cynthia D. Williams.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Wesley, for the intro. I'm excited to be here. And as Wesley said, my name is Cynthia D. Williams. I'm past district director, District 18, past leader in the district, but mostly a present member and excited about it. I love District 18 and being able to do whatever they need me to do to assist another to grow. Because you know what my mantra is all about goals, meeting your goals, everyone meeting and exceeding their goals, and that is GOALS, which stands for grow others and lead self. So as a leader, Acta, who's here tonight, just remember that. Remember your goals in addition to your members' goals that they're trying to meet and exceed. You are G, growing, O, others, and for A, leading is L, and S is self. So when you're growing others, don't forget about yourself too as a leader, because you can learn from them as they learn from you. Make sense? All right, but I'm not talking about goals and my mantra. We're talking about sponsorship. We're talking about sponsoring new clubs into this district. Because when we get these new clubs coming in, I believe the last I talked with Wesley, he shared with me District 18 had 11 conversations going, and there were several in the pipeline. And Wes can correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm behind, but I know the report that we had, the last conversation, was that we had 11 conversations and we have more in the pipeline. That deserves a round of applause. Well done, District 18. So with that said, with those 11 conversations about new clubs and those in the pipeline, we need to be able to have a team, a bench, if you will, that's going to be able to go right in and assist that club to getting to the finish line. And that finish line is to charter and have a charting ceremony. And then the ultimate line is to have a sustainable club. You can only have a sustainable club if we have the team to be able to assist and help. And that team includes a sponsor or two. So what we're going to do this evening is speak about how to sponsor a new club. So if we can pull up that slide, I'm going to get Wesley to share his screen, and he's going to pull up the slide deck, and we're going to press forward. We have a small group, but you know what? There are big and mighty things that happen with small numbers. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to press forward. Tonight's training is entitled Starting from Scratch, How to Sponsor New Clubs. So I'm going to start with a question. Always good to start a training with a question, and that is, why do people sponsor? Why does someone sponsor a new Toastmasters club? So what I want to do is just kind of talk amongst ourselves, talk out loud. What are some of the reasons why a person would sponsor a new club? Wesley, can I get you to start us off, and then Edna can probably chime in one of her reasons. I'll give a few and then we'll move forward. Just kind of do that. Why does someone sponsor a new Toastmasters club?
Yep, for someone that wants to charter a new Toastmasters club is because they've heard of Toastmasters and they see the value that this organization and the curriculum and the learning experience that it offers, and they want to share that with other people who may also resonate with Toastmasters. So, I mean, it could
Yeah.
be anything from community clubs, it could be a corporate club where that individual wants to charter a club and just begin that process.
Yeah, definitely. To learn from what they heard, because of the value that Toastmasters bring. Definitely. Hector, do you have any feedback, any thoughts about why does someone sponsor a new Toastmasters club?
Yeah, I think I have the same thing like what Wesley said. We see the value of the Toastmaster, how we can grow and learn from each other. So I think that's the thing, the value.
Yeah. Definitely learning from one another. That's huge. I mean, if you're living every day, you're looking to learn more. You're never going to stop knowledge from coming. It's always good to learn something new, have a new learning experience. And another reason is because they want to share what they already know. A lot of people that sponsor Toastmaster clubs within their organization or community have already experienced Toastmasters. They may be a Toastmaster themselves, and they want to share those benefits with others. And then you have some that always, not that it's a bad thing, but people want to strive to get the highest educational mark in Toastmasters, and that's a DTM. So they want to earn credit towards a DTM, and it's not shameful to say so, right? That's part of the learning experience. I have to uh, do a sponsorship, a coaching, a mentorship, something in order to gain credit to get to the highest educational mark within in the Toastmasters educational system, and that's a distinguished Toastmaster. I have my goals too, right? Grow others and lead self. Don't leave yourself out. Next slide, please. All right, so we are looking to, in addition to chartering, why people charter, or I'm sorry, sponsor clubs, what the things that we just said, they can also enhance their leadership skills. So other reasons people sponsor a new Toastmasters club is to enhance their leadership skills, develop project management skills and the capabilities, and expand market expertise. So yeah, these are things also that can play a part in doing so. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at those opportunities too as a sponsor when we are sponsoring a new club. Next slide. Okay, here are some specific requirements that a member must meet before or to become a club sponsor. Sponsor duties, they have to abide by those. And what we try to do here in District 18 is make them uniform, so everyone will feel comfortable going into a new Toastmasters club and being able to be a sponsor or the champion of a possible Toastmasters club has some guidelines to go by. Establish a corporate, whether you're establishing a corporate club, launching a community club, these are the things we're going to touch on today, but these are the things that one must have in their arsenal, if you will. We will look at all of this, completing a charter and plan to present. So those are the things we're going to look today on our topics. Next slide, please. All right, so let's talk about the sponsor's duties. What does it take to reap all the benefits that we talked about earlier, develop all these skills for a sponsor? The first thing I want to share with you guys, it takes commitment. You have to have commitment to performing the duties of the sponsorship. So whatever the district has, whatever district you go in, and you go into this new Toastmasters club and you're looking to sponsor a club, you have to have commitment in order to organize the new club from the beginning to the end, or as the kids say, from the kit to the caboodle. You want to also have a commitment that you're going to be there to set up regular meetings. So you're going to give your all to that Toastmasters club or that prospect Toastmasters club. You're going to help them complete the paperwork and plan a charter presentation. Again, from the kit to the caboodle. So the beginning of organizing a club, setting up and running the club meetings or help running the club meetings, all the way down to presenting the charter paperwork, and then doing the presentation. The charter ceremony is the highlight of all the accomplished work that you set aside. Right, next slide, please. Here it talks about types of clubs, community, corporate, advanced specialties. I'm going to pause here and ask, when we say advanced let's go to specialty. When you hear specialty clubs, what comes to mind? What is a specialty club? If it's not a corporate or community club, what could be considered a specialty club? Anyone can come off of mute and share with us.
Yeah, when I think of a specialty club, it's a club that caters to a specific audience. It could be a club where you primarily focus on those who want to earn their DTM. It could be an all DTM club, or it can be a club where there's a shared interest, such as fishers, or like a sports club. Right, those are
Ah,
what I think
yes.
of, yeah, specialty clubs.
On the money. Any thoughts behind that, or any feedback you want to add, Hector?
Yeah, when I hear that word specialty, I instantly thought about like corporate club, like where people meet in their at their lunchtime, and but they don't have time for other time. This for lunchtime they meet and group and just do the meeting for a short meeting. That's what comes in mind.
Yep. It's any themed club, any specialty targeted audience, just like you said. All of those fall under specialty. So well said. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So now we come down to our session that's going to focus on methods of chartering a corporate club. Many of the same techniques can be used with other types of club, and you'll see that as we go through the presentation. But here are some methods. Now we're focused on establishing a corporate club. One of the fundamental tools for starting a new club is the new club information kit. It's item 123. I know I might should put that on here because when you search, it's easy to search by the item number, but it's item 123, and the kit actually includes the how to build a Toastmasters club, item 21, and including in that is your application to organize, your charter payment documents, I believe your Toastmasters charter member application, the club officer information form, the club information form, Toastmasters Club Constitution and Member Club, Toastmasters International Form, and then the addendum of standard club options. So it's a package that includes so much. In addition to that, it also includes the promotional brochures, Find Your Voice, Develop Your Leader from Within, all about Toastmasters, and I believe Your Path to Leadership is included in that too. But all of these are in there. Again, that how to build package, all the forms that are needed and necessary, and those promotional forms that I just called out. But this is the things you're going to need, the kit, the tools that you need, because we want to always have the tools to use in order to grow, right? So these are the tools that's going to come when you start to establish a corporate club. Next slide, please. And just to segue also, I mentioned those item numbers, but all of these items that I mentioned that you have to use to establish a Toastmaster Club can be found under supply order at toastmasters.org, and they are free. So just remember that there's a free download, and you can order those. And if you would order them as well, they are still free items for the public. All right, so let's talk about, we're still on establishing a Toastmasters Club. The other portion, the other tools you need in order to establish a Toastmasters corporate club is team, a Toastmasters team. And that team would be what we allow with establishing a Toastmasters club is 2 sponsors, 2 mentors, and those are going to be appointed by the club growth director with the help of the district director. So the district director and the club growth director are also on your team, and then other Toastmasters and other district leaders. In addition to others, that's your next door neighbor Toastmasters club. So if there was a Toastmaster club that assisted in this, I would call them your sister club, and they can assist as well. Who else could be on your team? Members within the prospective club that you're trying to put together. Because again, some members or people may already have been a Toastmaster in the past or are current Toastmasters that you're recruiting to be in that prospect club. So don't leave them out too. Always look within but just know your district leadership team is there to assist. Next slide, please. Establishing the corporate club is where we are still. And I like to say identify your leads here. Most often the district director, let me narrow it down, the club growth director from the district, from international, will already have leads in place about new clubs. So they are looking for sponsors to join the team, basically. But then you have member or people that come in and say, hey, I want to sponsor a club. I want to get a club started, want to know what to do. So they would be great candidates, that champion, to be a sponsor, something they're going to have to look to do to get their DTM at the end anyway, to do it up front. So if they've already bringing the club in, they're looking for the people and they're trying to set it up, they would be your champion / sponsor. So remember that as well. They would be a great sponsor because they are hyped on getting this team up and going. So one of the things I want to say about identifying your target, identifying the lead. In a corporate club, what you want to do is start to research the area and then research the clubs the organizations that's in the area. You're looking for companies, and within those companies, you're going to look to their size. Let me ask you this. I know Wesley knows, but I was going to ask Acta, maybe she knows as well. What's the preferable size of a company that we would like to see if they are looking to start or sponsor a Toastmaster club within their organization? What number, their complement, if you will? How many employees should they have, the size? What do you think?
Starting the club?
Yep, not even starting the club, but a company wants to start a club. So they have their champion come to Toastmaster and they say, Wesley, I'm company XYZ. We want to start a club within our company. How large should their company be in order for us to really look at or entertain? We'll look at it, but preferably what figure of employees should they have a minimum of in order to be considered Toastmaster Club would be great for your organization?
Minimum 20.
You said 300 and what?
No, 20.
20. So that's a good try. So 20 is actually the size the minimum of people we look to start a Toastmasters Club. But if we're starting a Toastmasters Club inside of an organization, a corporate club, we look for their organization size to be a minimum of 250 employees.
Oh.
And the reason why is because we want them to be big enough to sustain a 20-member minimum Toastmasters Club. Does that make sense? Because you're going to have a revolving door where maybe some people get promoted and they actually leave the organization. So we want to be able to bring more people within their organization in that revolving door. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when starting and establishing a corporate club, we tell the sponsor, hey, our target size is 250 employees minimum. It could be way more than that, but if you're under 250, we'll ask questions like, hey, by chance, do you have a sister organization, maybe in a different state, a different county, a different city? And then maybe if they have 200 and you have 200, that's 400. Then you can pull from them in order to, again, sustain a Toastmasters Club. Because once we start a Toastmasters Club, we want it to last, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the things you want to research is the size, the location, the revenue within, also key decision maker. But not only that, look at the company as well. What's some of their key initiatives, their strategies, their priorities? What's their focus? What is their mission? Look up, have they have any news articles on them? These are the things you want to do when you're looking at a organization within the area and you want to start a Toastmasters Club in, because one of the things you do is when you make that initial contact and you're actually talking to the key decision makers, you want to come off as if you know their organization. You want them to know that, wow, they really looked into us. We have something to offer. And you want to see what their needs are. Is there need for a Toastmasters club? And then share with them, I see your need, and be able to feed that need. Next slide, please.
Can I add something on this one?
Please,
We had
yes,
one corporate club here in Walkersville, the Lonza, maybe Wesley knows, it's a Lonza. It just
Lonza,
closed.
yes.
Yeah, I think it just shut down. I don't know, maybe lack of membership or the corporate club.
Wesley, do you know the story behind Lonza? At first, they started off real strong because they had a large complement when they opened up, and they kind of dwindled. Do you know the story behind Lonza?
Not the specific story, but I know that a lot of corporate clubs have struggled since the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things we try to do, that I know that the district does, and I know Wesley does it well and does a great job, is when a club does close or they are closing, is that we try to reach out to the individual members and let them know about the club next door. So if they can't, continue where they are, at least they know their options, that Toastmasters is still going to be around, and they can go to the club next door or look in their backyard and find another club if they want to stay active. Just because their club folds doesn't mean that they have to fold. Does that make sense? So if
Yes.
you know anyone with Lonza that's still anxiously wanting to be with Toastmaster, definitely introduce them to another club that's under you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely try to keep them active.
it's been a few months that before they closed down. It's very close from my house. So one of the member, I don't know her name, I don't recall. She emailed me and she asked me if I can get some more member to her club. I don't know how she found out, but she emailed me and said, and I said I'll try, but I don't know anything. And after a few months, they closed down.
Yeah, I would definitely keep a contact with her and invite her to new up and coming clubs that's still in the area. So, hey Wesley, is Walkersville Lonza, are they near Daniel's Club?
Um,
Indeed.
yeah, that I'm not 100% sure. I need to look at at a map.
Okay. Well, no
Yeah,
worries. We'll look at that. We're gonna try to keep it general and not specific because I know we're recording. But definitely let's look at the clubs around because I know there's a new club coming up looking for new members. We don't want those who want to stay active to have to fall by the wayside. We can still grab them and then we can look into growing back another club if that's what they wish to do. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so we're on still establishing a corporate club. Great segue, but let's get back on. Introduce yourself. So after completing the research, you've done all of looking into the club size, their wants, their needs, their revenue, all of that. You want to send an introduction email and letter to the company contact. Give them some brief information about Toastmasters, and then follow some of these things in the letter. Printed on Toastmasters stationery, hand address and stamp the envelope, make it personal. And then the email and letter, you want to provide preliminary information about Toastmasters using facts from the research that you did, and tell them, maybe use the value benefit form, how this benefit and value for your need in your organization definitely fits if you come with Toastmasters. So just be strategic on how you do it, but definitely after you while introducing yourself, put it on Toastmasters letterhead and let them know what you know about their organization and where you see the need, and then put a value and a benefit with that need. Does that make sense? All righty, let's go. And include the develop your leaders from within. That's powerful. That's a powerful pamphlet because everybody wants to grow their organization from within. All right, next slide, please. So after you do your introduction, you've already introduced yourself. Now what you want to do is call of the decision makers and make contact. You want to call them after they've gotten the email, the letter, because you sent it directly to them. Make an appointment to see them. So set the appointment up. Don't spend a lot of time on the phone call with them telling them about Toastmasters. That's what's supposed to take place face-to-face or Zoom. And then prepare for the meeting. You know how you prepare for the meeting. Grab all that research you have, make sure it's in front of you so you can speak to it. For example, if you know that the cost of the company, if you know that cost is one of the company's major concerns, compare some of the cost-efficient ways that Toastmaster has value. And we all know that Toastmasters is what, $90 a year? Compare that to, what's the group, Carnegie, the training, they're like 3,000 above now. They might be 5,000 above, and they don't give, it's not an ongoing thing. It's a certain amount of sessions, right? I believe so. But so compare, again, find the need. And again, know what they want, what they're looking for, what's their pain points, and what their highlights. So if cost is a pain point, or if training is a pain point, let them know that Toastmasters is a value because it's only $90 a year after your startup cost. Also, plan questions to ask during the meeting. So you want to have that in front of you. Design questions to expose as much information as possible about the value of the organization, about any value of the organization, where they place their value, whether it's on leadership, whether it's on communication skills, whether it's on building a bench. So these are the things you want to be well versed about to be able to, speak their language. That's what decision makers look for in a corporate conversation, if you will. Ask your contacts about personal development and how leadership and communication skills have played a part in the past in their organization. If that hits a point with them or a nerve with them, then you got them hook, line, and sinker, because that's what Toastmasters offers anyway. And then at that point, go ahead and wrap it up. So during the meeting, share the names of other corporations. I'm sorry, I skipped this part, but share the names of other corporations and local companies right there in their area that have Toastmasters in their organization. And maybe even share how well they're doing. You can look that up as an area director on your district website under your dashboard, if you will. But wrap it up, discuss. So some of your discussions when you're wrapping it up comes from the great value of Toastmasters, kind of in on that high point. The value statement that Toastmasters has, where leaders are made. So stick it to them at the wrap up, like really short and sweet, but very powerful, if that makes sense. Next slide, please. All right, so discussing finances. When you wrap it up, but you definitely want to set aside some time if they bring up the question about finances, how much and all of that. It can be a very uncomfortable task. So if you're an area director, if you're a sponsor that looked into an organization and you want to start a club at that organization, or you're a sponsor within, a champion within that organization, and you want to sponsor there, again, that might be an uncomfortable conversation. And if you're not comfortable with it, pull on your club growth director. He said it over and over and over again. He or she's been spilling it over and over again. So they're pretty much mid-year, they're comfortable with the finance portion of it. So go ahead. It is very important to be transparent, mainly because Toastmasters isn't expensive. It's a very nominal fee to keep something going, and it's a nominal fee, in my opinion, to even start a Toastmaster club. So go ahead and approach the subject, but approach it with be confident and very transparent about it. If you're not comfortable and transparent, definitely turn it over to your club growth director. But after the company has given the conceptual support, finalize its financial commitment and determine what portion of the cost the company is willing to pay. And you may want to give them some options on what you've seen in the past at other corporate clubs. So for instance, some will pay the charter fee only. Some will do the charter fee and the new member fee because they want new members. And then you want to help them establish how many members they're going to pay for. So if we're looking for a minimum of 20, but you want to maximize them, maybe say 25. So consider that. Give them some options as a sponsor on what's the norm or what other corporate clubs may be doing. Next slide, please. All right, so money matters. That's what this slide is talking about. But before conducting a demonstration meeting, whether it's a potential corporate or community club, plan how to handle any money collected. So here's the thing, when you're about to launch this demonstration meeting because you want to bring interest, because you're trying to establish a corporate club, you are going to be most likely selling yourself and trying to get people to join this potential club. So in order to do that, we have to talk about money, and then we have to collect money. So what are some ways and how are we supposed to get money if we don't have the whole 20 members that's required to start a club? How are we going to look at that? So these are the things you have to have that conversation as a sponsor with. So one of the things you can do, I have them listed on the screen, is designate a club officer who can hold the payments or hold the payments until they can hold the payments until they all are ready to be sent to Toastmasters International, or deposit the money into another club's account. You might have a sister club assisting you. Two ways that I know of that work really well, at this point in the stage, a sponsor, whether it's within or outside, bringing in an organization, they are at the point where they know that they're going to sponsor a club. This club is going to happen. They feel it in their bones. So a lot of them actually establishes go ahead and set up an account, a bank account that can take money in, and when they collect everything that they need, they'll send it to Toastmasters International, and then the club is established, and they already have a club account already set up. That makes sense? Wesley, what's some of the ways that you are familiar with that may have happened with a corporate club or community club when it came to collecting monies to get a club started and established?
For corporate clubs, I mean, if they have a good executive sponsor, that they can work with that individual, then the company can just pay for everyone's dues. So they pay for the one-time membership fee, pay for the Toastmasters dues, and then the charter fee. If it's for a community club, it certainly does depend, but yeah, it's definitely think your option and what you've mentioned is a good idea, where the club can work with an existing Toastmasters club and hold their dues until they have the sufficient number of members to formally complete their charter paperwork.
Yeah, definitely. So there are several options to look into, but as a sponsor, again, this is sponsor training, you look around, ask around, again, get with your club growth director and find those options so you can talk those options out with that group, that core group, those officers of that prospective club, so you can kind of brainstorm and see what works best. Because again, in a corporate setting, the corporate office may be able to offer something. So just keep that in mind, have options, and be able to share those options. Next slide, please. Thanks, Wes. That was good information. Now we're ready to move into the demonstration meeting. So I got a question for you guys. Have any of you conducted a demonstration meeting, a Toastmasters demonstration meeting, or been in the audience of a Toastmasters demonstration meeting? I know Wesley has. Ekta, have you?
Oh, I haven't.
No. Ekta, I would love for you to keep your calendar open for the 21st. I would love to have you participate with me in a combined demonstration meeting we're doing for the district. And you can see how so much fun it is, one, to conduct it, and how easy it is to put one on, but the reward that comes out of it afterwards is just so exhilarating. So if you are available, shoot me an email after this and let me know you're available on the 21st of January from 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12. Well, actually do 9:30 to 12 because I'm going to talk to everybody prior to or starting at 10 o'clock, and get on board. But a demonstration meeting is a highlight. It truly is. It is what I call an abbreviated Toastmasters meeting. Usually when I do a demonstration meeting, and everybody in different districts may do it slightly different, but for the most part, just like Toastmasters, it's the culture, because every demonstration meeting still has your main parts that are very similar and very familiar. But I like to call it an abbreviated meeting, and it's usually done in 30 minutes. Yeah, we have a great time with a great meeting in 30 minutes. And then after that, we have time for a quick presentation that's usually by PowerPoint, and it's probably 8 slides, if that many. And then we have enough time for a testimony, and then we have time also for Q&A. So it's awesome. I love doing demonstration meetings, and they are so rewarding. So with that said, a demonstration meeting is a sponsored opportunity, to show prospective members how a Toastmasters meeting is conducted. And we just do it abbreviated, that's all. A carefully well-conducted meeting will excite prospective members, even key decision makers, even executives, because demonstration meeting, we want to invite all the big wigs. So definitely if it's a corporate, if we're trying to establish corporate clubs, we want to make sure that the members and the sponsors invite the CEOs, the administrators, invite the big wigs, because it will blow them away, and then they will be on board because they will be hook, line, and sinker at that demonstration meeting. Here again with the demonstration meeting, just on the slide, we already know the different roles within a Toastmasters meeting. Again, it's abbreviated, so sometimes we don't use all of them, all of the roles. However, some other times in the demonstration meeting, we combine the roles, or we also reach out into the audience and have the audience participate. We have skits, we have scripts rather, props. We have enough for them to just read to be able to participate in that. So we come fully prepared. All right, I'm not going to elaborate on it, but I just want to say just remember the goal is to pique a Toastmasters interest. So for a sponsor inside and a sponsor outside, the goal is to pique the interest of those in the audience. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. Let's go to the next slide. I'm not going to belabor that. I know we're cutting up on time. Let's see, demonstration meeting. We just want to stay within the limits. So if we say 30 minutes, the 30 minutes for the first portion, let's do it. 30 minutes. Let's stop and let's cut it down, and let's do a PowerPoint so we can talk about how much it costs. Because you want to, in every demonstration meeting, you want to open up the doors. You want to open up the doors of their invitation. We want to invite them to join now while the interest is high, while we pique their interest. But with a demonstration meeting, I need to select a team. We want to select roles, sign roles, invite high-level representatives. And it's not always high-level representatives. We can get a brand new Toastmaster who can tell their story on why Toastmasters, or we can get them to explain before Toastmasters, now after Toastmasters, and they will blow the audience away. So we try to mix it up a little bit, but we want to make sure it's abbreviated. So we do bring in high-level representatives in order to do so. Here it just talks about have everybody sign the guest book, giving their name, address, phone number, and email address. Next slide. So before the demonstration meeting, appoint prospective members, ask for volunteers. During the demonstration meeting, prospective members come to the lectern when called. We run a small show. I mentioned that. The next slide, please. It's after the demonstration meeting. And that talks about introduce the sponsor and mentors. That's going to come from the club growth director and the district director with their help. We do the Q&A. Toastmasters share their suggested stories. That's where I talked about the testimonies. Complete the application because we want them to join. We want them to start this charter club, and we want people to be a part of it. And we'll start submitting it. The sponsor will start to submitting that in the application fee. Next slide, please. All right, here is launching a community club. Same thing here. Again, I mentioned at the beginning that a lot of the information that is required for a corporate club is the same as other clubs. So you're still going to need 2 sponsors, 2 mentors. Again, they're appointed by the district. The district director, the club growth director, other Toastmasters and district leaders are also on your team. So that team is still in place. The one thing you may not have to do in a community club that you do in a corporate club is all of that research, the researching of the company. But keep in mind, you want to know the surroundings of that community. So you want to know what that targeted community is. You want to know, is it a senior home in there? And what type? So these are the things again, everything is going to drive what you're doing, but it's not going to be as in-depth as the research as you're researching a company. But keep in mind, you do want to know a little bit about that community as well. So let's go to the next slide, see what it tells us. Steps to charting a community club. Plan the administration meeting, publicize the meeting, contact your local chamber of commerce. Again, community is just still corporate, still things you're doing with corporate, but your target is just different. So when you publicize a meeting, you don't have what you have in a corporate office where you have that list of that global address that the corporate office has, right? Now you don't have email addresses because it's an open community. How do you publicize? How do you get it out there? Look at your local newspaper, your local chamber of commerce like they have here, posting announcements, posting posters. Where do you post some of those posters? In libraries, community colleges, shopping malls, grocery stores, local businesses. Ask your local businesses to be a part of it. Hey, can we put this on your employee engagement board? Does that make sense? So you have to target where you are, specialized groups, where you are in that community in order to get the community to come out and participate. But the community, to publicize for a community club, in my opinion, and I'll get your opinion as well, do you think it's easier to get a community club up and running or a corporate club up and running? Wes, what's your thought? Which is easier to you?
I mean, it's hard to
Community
answer.
is-
Yeah, it's hard to answer that because they're just different dynamics. You know, you can run into issues with the corporate clubs
Both.
where the sponsor, the executive sponsor may not be completely on board, or there's also approving budgets, which may also hinder the chartering process. But then you also have issues with community clubs where it can be a challenge for the champion to find the 20 members, and may need to work on their marketing strategy before they can get the prerequisite numbers. I think it's really just about, is the infrastructure there, where it's organized, where the champion has a clear plan of action to find those 20 members before they can charter.
Yeah.
That is my answer. Yeah.
Wes gave us a technical answer. But you're right. It's just the different dynamics in both the corporate club and how it differs from the community club. Both come with their good, bad, and their indifferent. So definitely, the challenges are there. I agree with you, Wes. Thank you. And the last one on here is target specialized groups. If you target specialized groups using invitation mailings that can contribute to a strong core of potential members, new members to the new club, such as employees of small businesses. It all depends on the time of the month, the year, or whatever the case may be. small office, home office businesses. They show up. Religious groups, military groups as well, military personnel as well. So things to think about. Next slide, please. At this point, you want to continue to feed as a sponsor, you want to feed the enthusiasm. So say you are, you've had your demo meeting and you're ready to start some meetings. Remember I said organize and then set up meetings and then have the charter ceremony and the presentation. So those are our goals. But now we have to feed their enthusiasm because the demo meeting is over. Now we actually have to have some meetings. So announce the next meeting is what you want to do. So sponsors need to focus on feeding the enthusiasm, if you will. How do you build that up? How do you keep it up? How do you keep interest after that demo meeting? A sponsor needs to focus on the group, on the future, and capitalize on their eagerness at the moment. That's how you feed their enthusiasm. Don't let them die down. You know how they say, what's the phrase? Adjust in air. So adjust in the air. Don't let them come down because then that takes that much momentum to build them back up, to get them back in the air. I love that analogy. But just keep that in mind. So what do? At the end of a demonstration meeting, announce immediately when you're going to have your meeting, your next official meeting that everybody that's there should be at. So always at the end of the meeting, announce when the next meeting will be. Does that make sense? Ask the group to be to select a temporarily, if you hadn't done it already, the officers, because you're going to need a team. The sponsor is going to need a team. So go ahead and do temporarily a president, temporary treasurer, temporary sergeant at arms, whatever the case may be. Put somebody in charge. Because honestly, people do like to be in charge. Trust, I know. And then follow up with reminders. So Ekner, like I told you about your area council meeting, we are all busy. Everybody has life happening. So in order to do that, what you want to do is to continue to follow up with reminders. Don't think of it as a bothersome or a nuisance. Think of it as, oh my gosh, I'm glad she sent this reminder because I totally forgot. So definitely send up the reminders, collect dues, pay the charter fee, and conclude with recognition. Always, always, always give those who played a part in this high accolades. Let them know you are truly appreciative. Thank you, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. I've missed that part and you picked it up. Thank you for that. So I want to recognize these 3 members who stepped up to be temporary, da 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 da. So definitely, always, always recognize and recognize out loud. Give them their flowers while they are above ground. Next slide, please. Wesley, when do you want me to stop? At 8, or you want me to kind of wrap it up, or can I keep going for the next 4? It's just 4 slides more.
Yep, it's your call.
Okay, I'll keep going. So let me share with this. Complete the charter. That's where we are. So we've done all of that. We've introduced ourselves. We've reached out to them. We did research. We put on an outstanding demo meeting as a sponsor. We've gathered people. People are interested. We're going to feed their enthusiasm. We're going to stay in their face. We're going to not let things die down. Now, while we're doing that, we're having meetings. The sponsor and the temporary officers are putting this charter paper together. We're putting the charter paper together. Any questions you may have, you can reach out to the extension chair. Oh no, don't lose. I lost you. I lost connection, guys. I'm still on the phone, but I lost you guys on the screen. I'm back. So definitely, now we're ready to charter. So at this point, grab the papers, any questions you may have, because this is where you want to comb through it with a fine-tooth comb. And if that's the case, what you want to do when you have questions, reach out to the extension chair, myself, Cynthia D. Williams in District 18, reach out to the Club Growth Director, Wesley Gibbs in District 18, and even his team, and your team as well, in your area and division that you have been assigned to, that club has been assigned to. So that's where we are. Next slide, please. It's going to take us to plan the presentation. At this point, we've had our demo meeting, we have our documents, we've submitted our documents with this charter, and we've submitted it to Toastmasters International. We are ready. We are a chartered club. We received, the club growth director and the extension chair received from Toastmasters International, or the sponsor received the charter, they received the charter ceremony package, if you will. Now we're ready to actually do a charter ceremony. In this charter ceremony, you want to invite all guests. You can get formal if you want. Send some formal invitation, personal invitations out, and share with them, inviting them. Not only your team on the Toastmaster side, from your area director, division director, your local sister club, the next door club, your backyard club. You want, if it's in a corporate office, send it to the CEO, CFO, COO, send it to the administrators, send it to all the big wigs. If you send it to all of the big wigs, have them come and attend. Tell each and every one that you tell, each one reach one. You want to fill that room for that charter ceremony. What's going to include is the individual instruments of the charter ceremony that we will receive from Toastmasters International, which is the company's official charter certificates, the charter certificate for the club. You'll also receive a banner, just a gavel, all of that. So it's a beautiful ceremony, and we'll also have testimony in there for the members, the audience to hear the members speak. So we'll have we'll prepare that's what you do with the presentation. But in the presentation, you invite the guests, you plan meals, you form committees, whether it's a decorative committee, a decorating committee, food committee, cleanup committee, setup committee, or even invitations, so things of that sort. Prepare a printed program. Make sure it's a printed program so you can share with everybody. Printed programs on Toastmasters head, a letterhead, or a folded sheet, however you're going to do it, but make it nice so it can go with as a keepsake. Include a short meeting and have all those who need to be in attendance in attendance. When you do your presentation, just publicize the charter presentation just as you did when you were publicizing that demo meeting. Use all tips that you use when you publicize that for either the corporate office or community club. Coordinate your publicity with the district public relations manager. Make sure she's involved so she can hit all social medias of the district, outside, internally facing and externally facing. Follow up with more detailed release in your local paper, your local news. If you can get news, Channel 5, 7, 9, Channel 8 in Baltimore, whatever the case may be, if you're familiar or you have a relationship with any of the news anchors, have them do that. If the local publications can't send a photographer to the meeting, make sure you have someone that can take photos, nice photos, and then present those photos to your local publications. Make sure you capture the people, the dates, the name, the faces, the dates, the place, and the occasion. Mention who in the room. If you have high officials in the room, mention them too when you send it to the publication. But these are the things you want to consider when you prepare to do the presentation for the charter ceremony. I am on the phone and I'm still going, I believe. I'm not sure. So I'm sure you can still hear me, but I'm not 100% sure if you can still see the screen, because right now I can't see the screen.
I can still hear you, and we're still at the planned presentation slide.
Okay. All righty. No worries. It might just be my connectivity. So at this point, that is the end of the presentation, I believe, Wes. Yep. In closing, what I want to share with you is one of the documents you may want to, as a sponsor, have with you at all times, because it's a great speaking tool. Not only is it a great tool to give to in your package, but it's a great speaking tool, and that is features, benefits, and value. Features, benefit, and value. As a sponsor, whether you're internal or external sponsor, one of the things you can do is always speak to the need. So for instance, a feature of Toastmasters is a self-paced program. A self-paced program will allow a community club or a corporate club flexibility. That's a benefit. The value to an individual is ultimate personal growth. If I have the flexibility to do it at my pace at any time for as long as I want, that's the ultimate personal growth, because I have a platform where I can continually grow at all times. Does that make sense? If it's a value, I mean, here's a value to the organization. If it's a self-paced program, that flexibility, that's the benefit, but the value is employee goal achievement. I now have a program that's self-paced that will allow my employees to reach their goals and their achievement at their pace. That's something that employees like. They don't want to be pressured, but they want to know that it's always there and available for them. So if you get the features, benefit, and value document free download on Toastmasters International, it is a great tool to use to talk through and talk with. Let's stop here for any questions from Hector or Wes. Any questions, any feedback? And if not, we are through this presentation. I do appreciate you all allowing me to speak to you today about new club sponsorship. We definitely need them in District 18, and our emails are wide open to receive those who are interested in being a sponsor or interested in sharing with us what you see out and around and about you. If you see organizations that you think would be a great candidate for a Toastmasters Club to be inside of it, share that with us too, and you will get credit for actually identifying that lead. Wes, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and thank you, Wes, for allowing me to teach this class.
Absolutely, and I 100% agree with you, Cynthia, that anyone can be a sponsor. It's just about, finding a group of individuals or a corporate club that you really feel that you believe that Toastmasters would provide a benefit for them. You just go ahead and just go forward and charter a club. It definitely just goes a long way, and it provides great value to those who participate. But I want to thank you, Cynthia, for leading this very informative training, and I'll send more resources afterwards. And just reach out to either myself or Cynthia if you have any questions.
I have a question for Cynthia. Is it January 21st? What's the time? Like the meeting?
The 21st of January, all participants are to report to the Zoom because it's via virtual at 9:30, and then the demo meeting will start at 10 sharp.
Oh, okay.
10 a.m. sharp.
So is it on the calendar, like the meeting link, or?
The invite's not yet on the calendar, but the flyer is on the District 18 website, and it has a QR code.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
And Hector, if you are interested in participating, definitely send me an email. But if you are interested in just being in the audience, which we would love to have you, definitely go to the 18, get the QR code from the flyer, and you can come at 10. So either one, if you're coming at 9:30 and you want to participate, just shoot me an email so I can add you to the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it, everything, the whole thing, that sponsorship and all the thing. I understood more now. So thank you, everything.
Understood.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That warms my heart. Definitely want that. Wes, if you want, you can stop recording. And then, Hector, I believe Wes